Hey, HR friends, welcome back. This is a tough one for me today, okay? Health Reconnected for the last 5 days on our previous five forecasts. We have been warning of increased third person polarity moments, both at the emotional and the mental levels. We've had dual emotional polarity flips and we've had dual mental polarity flips. And what this does is it messes with our emotional and mental rhythms. And because we have so much chaos and turmoil in our country about this upcoming election, and our sides are so divided, it's increasing these polarity moments and making them even more powerful. Now, this is the exact time last night when the gunman tried to assassinate former President Trump. He started the shoot at 6:11 p.m. This is Eastern Time in Pennsylvania. Now, what I want you to see is, and I actually called Secret Service last night and explained, hey, going forward in the future here, you guys have to have this information. You have to know when these alignments are going to happen because this is what these alignments do. When our defensive mechanisms, when we're fighting each other, and these alignments are in position, and you can see them right here. These are the hands of the clocks that are aligning right now. This is amplifying this moment. And if we're out of balance, which means if we're not working together, if we're not being cooperative, if we're deciding to invest in conflict instead of peace, it is highly likely that unfortunate events are going to happen. And in this case, it doesn't get much more unfortunate than a former president having someone attempt to assassinate him. This is so concerning because this event right here is about to get everything way more elevated than it already was. We were already overinvested in what's happening here, and this is just going to amplify the division that we have. We're trying to spread this message to everybody. In fact, this week on Monday and Tuesday, we reached out to governments around the world, specifically the United States government. We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense, reached out to NASA and NOAA. This information is so vital. We need to get this at higher levels. We need to develop this technology because of how accurate it is in predicting when unpleasantness will happen, as well as when agitation will happen and make it even worse. So, when I spoke to the Secret Service agent that I talked to last night, I said, these are predicted moments. This is when you would want somebody to be in a safe location. And you would also encourage whoever they're protecting not to want to entice or engage the defensive design of our bodies because that ensures that chaos is going to prevail. Now, I want to go to the electromagnetics here and just briefly talk about this. So in the previous five forecasts that we've done at healthreconnected.com, we've been talking about this elevation right here. And you can see that there's a gap from the bottom of the graph to the top. And what's been happening here, this is where our emotional and mental frequencies have been reversing and going through polarity moments or between a positive and negative electromagnetic state. This is what's agitating us. And those alignments that we just showed you, those alignments are like bullseyes when that's most likely things like this are going to transpire. Okay. Now, I want you to specifically see that right before this assassination attempt, we've got a peak that hits a six, and then we've got another peak right after it that hits a six. We've got peaks in third person perspective, and we had peaks in first, and then followed by first after that. Again, all of this stuff, very, very easy to show and get people prepared for this. And this is what we're trying to do because our country needs this right now. We all have to calm down. We all have to take a deep breath, and we all have to start to understand how the space-time reality we exist in works because the way that we're trying to do this right now is going to continue to amplify this and make it exponentially worse. You see, we exist in a negative feedback loop, and that negative feedback loop is fueled by our defensive design. The more defensive we become, and the more aggravated and aggressive we get with one another, these marks right here, where the hands of the clock align, every time they align, that's when we're going to see disasters happen. That's when we're going to see conflicts happen. That's when we're going to see tragedies happen. I can't say this enough. So, so important that we start to take this serious. we will be reaching out nonstop. I will not stop trying to contact every government agency that can do something about this. We need this technology in the hands of all the governments in the world so that we can start to settle down all of this chaos that is consuming us. All right. I don't want to do another post like this again. Health Reconnected is doing everything we can. We'll talk to you soon.